fix it. Fix it in what is it? What is it called? I don't even remember right now. This is always the first 3 minutes of hilarious administrative activity. Because despite my best efforts, there's something that always happens during the stream when I'm trying to set it up. Even though I'm only pressing like 6 buttons. Let me just make sure I got everything where it needs to be. And the stream is in the place to be. Yeah, there we go. Just making sure. Those bars was trash, you know what I'm saying? I've disgraced myself as a former barsman. Shout out to the mic in the back, you know what I'm saying? That's what that's for. We're getting I've just muted this. Is this on Twitter? Oh, that's that's the Twitter. But we starting off the stream with proclamations of the Nuggets cooking us. And I just have to say, if you say so, brother. If you say so. Lakers in 6. I'm still saying it despite their best efforts to just do a multitude of hilarious things over the course of these 2 games, which have resulted in 2 losses that could have been very winnable games. Hamburglar, what's going on with the situation? LeBron, Raymond James, what's going on? Oh, I didn't close this door. Hold on. Gotta close this door. Can't have this echoing throughout the house. You know what I'm saying? I dropped the mic. All right, I'm back. Let me pull this up. Let's see. The plus minus gurus think it means everything when it's almost a useless stat. Lowe's being used like Malik Beasley sitting in the corner and just watching. Yeah, man, the plus minus discourse was nasty last night. Of course, it was to be expected because like it's so glaring. Like, oh, D'Lo a negative 16. Everybody else is either positive or you know what I'm saying. But AD was a negative 10. Vando was a negative 10, and D'Lo's cumulative plus minus in this series is not a result of like him being attacked on defense. Last night people were talking about his defense. I think he only gave up like as a primary defender. I think he only gave up like 2 buckets. He gave a pick and roll jumper up to KCP. He got beat up in the post a little bit in like the first 3 possessions of the game. MPJ got a layup, and then like MPJ caught him on the back screen, and I'll attribute this to D'Lo because he got caught on the back screen and he didn't really recover on the screen well. So like LeBron had to kind of stay where Murray was to like make sure he just didn't get a pass, and then LeBron and Rui were like late, kind of doing the switch and show. Like I don't know exactly what the coverage was, but LeBron and Rui didn't get to MPJ in time, and MPJ made a 3, and then he got a layup over him in like transition, but like it's a transition layup. I don't know. Not many guards are stopping transition layups for, you know what I'm saying, whatever. So he gave up like 9-11 points, something like that. But a lot of the plus minus has been a result of just like 1, being a spectator, and just in 2, game 1, he was a part of those 3 guard lineups that were just getting ran out the gym in the first half, and a lot of that was accumulated in the first half. And then I posted that video today of the second and fourth quarters. He did not have a shot attempt in either of those quarters. he barely had the ball, and they were just him. LeBron and AD was not making shots. They were turning the ball over sometimes, and things were just spiraling out of control. And he was just kind of there in the corner, like I'm Bennett, I'm not in it. And he didn't get and when his minutes were tethered to AD, so he doesn't get the full benefit of the non-Jokic lineup. So like people were building their plus minus in those lineups, and he wasn't really in those, particularly in the first quarter. I think they got some minutes at the beginning of the fourth with him with Jokic off, but that was during the Murray Cook, and like nobody was benefiting from Jokic not being on the floor at that particular time. Jamal Murray is out here. He must have watched my stream. Because like the first half of game 2, I was like, okay, Murray is who I think he is, because like if you leave him to his own devices, if you actually pay adequate attention to him for a large majority of the game, he's gonna have games where he just shoots the Nuggets into oblivion. You know what I'm saying? But the Lakers did not capitalize on him starting. What was he, 3 for 15 at some point? Like you know what I'm saying? So that's what I was banking on as a observer of the sport. I'm like, Murray's gonna have games where he's not gonna be this guy, and then he just happened to catch fire in the fourth quarter. He was going absolutely crazy and take nothing away from that man. But that loss was entirely avoidable. A lot of the a lot of the talk is AD and Brian. AD was not hooping on the offensive end particularly, but all of the looks were like looks that are quality looks. Like we can like relitigate what happened with the result of it all, but like they weren't like this outside of the like weak turnovers that AD kind of had, like trying to fight through position. I don't know what was going on with that, but like none of it was like, well, I'm not gonna say none of it, but it wasn't like super bad process until LeBron like started firing up the step backs. You know what I'm saying? But like I can understand, like that's why I wasn't too mad at it, like in the initially in the second quarter they were getting like shots and things like that, but it just kind of got nasty towards the end. LeBron didn't have a good game despite. Did they count that reverse as a dunk attempt? I don't think they did. I was looking through the shot attempts when I was like going through the game logs or whatever, and I don't think that was counted as an attempt. It might have been a turnover, but like LeBron wasn't bad in this game. Like him and AD were playing tremendous defense, so I got to give it up to him on that end. But on offense, I'm not gonna say this is like one of the worst LeBron games I've seen from a totality standpoint, but like his mistakes and his miscues are just like so glaring, like in the moment. Like right before that drop dunk, he missed a layup on some super old man time. Like I've never seen him just like straight airball layup. Now he had to step through some people and he probably miscalculated where he was on the floor and all that other stuff. So it's probably not a full foot strength or like explosion issue, but like that was nasty. Like and it was just some of the mistakes just spiral. Like you can have mistakes, but they were just at the wrong times. And like, you can't have both of your superstars like doing that on the road and expect to win. But then again, like Denver's a hostile environment. It's a 2-game deficit, but like they did what they were supposed to do. Now, if the Lakers just do what they're supposed to do, then it's a whole new series. You know what I'm saying? Is Bruce Brown going to play the same way in LA? Is Jamal Murray going to have 2 more games like this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Jokic was somewhat contained, which is a wild thing to say because I looked up at the end of the third quarter. I'm like, this brother he probably got like 17, 8, and 5. He had like 23, 15, and 9. I was like, bro, well, let me look at these questions, but let me see what's going on. This makes 2 games in a row where LeBron's taking heroic threes in the clutch and miss. What should be happening instead in crunch time? What's a good LeBron 3? The LeBron 3 discussion is kind of like, because like I'm not gonna argue that they were good shots or like even something I want to see, just given his shot history and things like that. But they didn't look bad. A couple of them were like, I think he rimmed out on 2 of them. Like the one where he kind of like did the little sidestep thing where he didn't really probe the offense. I mean, probe any other whatchamacallit avenues. I didn't like that one, but I don't have a problem with it. One LeBron 3 like that, but 2 of them, like, bro, what are you doing? Of course, he's earned the right to do that, but it's more so that the defensive pressure that the Nuggets are providing on a possession basis, you should be trying to attack that until you can't. Like, you should be in that paint, bro. Even though he was looking, maybe that was part of it. He just didn't have legs. I think, so I don't know if the report was true, but there's like Ramona Shelburne said LeBron missed 2 dunks in warm-up. So maybe his legs weren't there, even though he was still getting to the rim. So maybe that was a conscious decision on his part, but like the timing of the threes, and just like the point of the game they were in and the volume of them, like if it was like 2 or 3, whatever, but he shot like 5 in critical moments, like when the Nuggets were gaining momentum, and I don't know if he was trying to swing the momentum back or what he was doing, but those threes were not the business. But like they weren't like in a vacuum. I wouldn't say they were bad shots if he wasn't LeBron James struggling from 3 the way he is. He's shooting what, 0% in the series, like, like so. In the game process, they still tried to get to the Murray switches and the Reeves shenanigans, which is why he's having such a good time in this series. They just like that Murray fellow he giving it up on one end, but he giving it all back on the other end. Not all of it, but like he a little barbecue chicken out there, and Reeves is taking tremendous advantage of that. Um, but I just think they need to. I don't know if they didn't trust AD in the final moments or like what was going on because he was floating out to the perimeter shooting threes. He made one like, but they all of their worst shooters were shooting threes at the wrong time. Like it was just a bad environment, a bad offensive environment for one. I don't know exactly what the plans were, but that's kind of what you get um, when you sacrifice defense for offense, which they kind of did towards the end. Even though like Rui was out there, a lot of this is just that they couldn't respond to the Murray avalanche adequately because you had to make certain lineup adjustment, not adjust successions. Is that the word I'm looking for? To kind of just like get through the game. And the guy like Dennis was not good on offense last night, but he was there for defensive purposes. They had Rui in the game, but they also had D'Lo in the game, and they're so afraid of like having Austin guard Murray for some reason that they had Rui on Murray for like 90 seconds. Like, bro, like you lost the game in those 90 seconds. Like, I think he hit a no, that was Bruce Brown in transition, but he hit a three like on Rui. Like what are we doing? But but I don't know, man. Let's see. Uh Hand playing Rui only 30 minutes and Austin 36. They need to be 40 plus. Yeah, I think Rui needs more minutes, but like we saw like part of the reason he's probably not out there for all those minutes. Now you can argue that he probably needs Vando's minutes, I guess, but I still think Vando can play in this series, even though he was over pursuing rebounds. And I think I talked about this in last stream. That's one of the problems that you have with Vando is like I'd said in like a video that he plays a little too hard sometimes, and like sometimes he's mistaking activity for achievement, and he's crashing from the corner, and the problem with him doing that is he falls down when he does that a lot. Like he over pursues and he falls, and then like your floor balance is bad. Like, and they were just that's where they lost the game last night. Like for all the talk about what D'Lo was doing on defense, which is not what was happening, or what the offense was looking like, which was also like LeBron's shots notwithstanding. They had them pretty much contained in the half court for the majority of the game, even with the Murray explosion. But they lost this game in transition. This is the second game they've lost in transition. Game one, they lost in transition because of that three guard lineup. And then in this game, they just the floor balance was bad because everybody was crashing the glass for not everybody, but people were crashing the glass. And Denver's a running team, but they run with their front court, so like you can't be doing that. Like, so they kind of got ran out the gym again, but. I think that if you're going to increase Austin's minutes already over what he's already getting, and you're kind of asking him to chase people through screens and do all this other stuff, LeBron and AD have to be way more way more sharp than they were last night. And if Dennis is going to be out there offensively, he has to be sharp. Like, it's one thing if you're like missing shots. I think he was like 2 for 9 last night. But just like the timing of everything Dennis is doing on the offensive end is like really hindering what they're trying to do on offense because he's not making passes on target or on time. And he's just kind of aimlessly dribbling in certain possessions where he's just not in the flow of the offense. And it shouldn't be this way, particularly with the personnel that he's playing against. He should be able to get to the rim against a Nuggets team if he's playing appropriately, particularly in lineups where Jokic is not there, which is where they should deploy him more often if they're going to play him as much as they're playing him. Which is kind of why I still don't see the Dennis should start thing like happening. I'm not happening, but like I'm not a person who believes that that's the move you should make. Starting, even if you have D'Lo nominally starting, like I just think that Dennis isn't good in those lineups sometimes as a decision maker over the course of the first 2 games. Now, maybe that's a road thing, maybe it's an altitude thing, maybe his Achilles is messed up. I don't know what's going on, but he's been a very poor decision maker in these first 2 games. And if Austin's going to be out there more often, then you kind of need a little more support from the lead guard position because but for all Austin's brilliance and everything like that, he's still not gonna be if you put him as the lead ball handler and just expect him to be this same guy, it's probably not gonna look the same. A lot of this is secondary creation type things. He tried a little lead ball handler shenanigans in the first half and he kind of struggled. I think he was 3 for 10 and he was kind of like pressing the issue a little bit. So you kind of want to slot him in the role that he's in right now. And if you want to increase his minutes, whatever. But if Dennis is the other guard and him and LeBron are on the floor, like you got to make sure that they tighten up their decision making and stuff like that. It's so foreign to see Bron throw up layups like Dio. Let's see, running no offense at all in the low area completion rate. Just scared to let D'Lo cook, and it's frustrating. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's like ham. I think this is more of a LeBron thing. I think that they have tricked themselves into like matchup brain in this series for whatever reason. Because like it's not the Denver Nuggets aren't like stopping D'Lo from doing what he needs to do if he actually is in pick and roll actions and stuff like that. He's making appropriate decisions. His floor game was good last night. His floor game was good in game one besides the early post ups, but is that a function of him knowing that he's not going to get shot attempts on the weak side? Like he's getting looked off on spot ups like at a tremendous rate. So like maybe some of the shots he's taking is just like, oh, I'm not about to get the ball in a while. Let me throw this up type thing. I don't know. But I think that they just believe that they're so much more like physically capable and they can kind of get through the Nuggets if they want and need to, that they're just kind of playing that style of basketball. And D'Lo's not a mismatch hunter in that way. He's going to be a guy on the periphery. Like if he gets a switch, he's a guy who thinks, all right, I'm going to get a ball to the big. The big has the mismatch. I'm going to give him the ball. I'm going to get out the way. And he's just in the corner now. You're using him as a spacer, even though he played well in the first and third quarter and they kind of had control of the game during those times where he was not when he was controlling the offense a little more. The first quarter was not like they weren't in full control, but the beginning of the third quarter, him and Austin were playing some really great like two-man game. Not two-man between them, but like they were taking turns initiating offense and finding each other and like just playing good basketball. And then we got into the LeBron and AD mismatch fest or whatever that we've been seeing, and like it worked in game one. It should have worked in game two. AD wasn't making shots. LeBron was missing layups. I think he got fouled on a couple of them. We can litigate the refs if we want to, because like we never trusted the Tony brothers officiating crew to make any of the like sensible calls on the court. But even with all that said, they still had their chances and they just dookie to bed at the wrong time. I don't know what the rules are on swearing on YouTube. I ain't trying to get quote unquote demonetized. Let's see. The transition three with LeBron trailing was a poor decision. Yeah, but like, was it given what we saw? Maybe D'Lo knew like that he ain't had the juice. But like, if we're gonna live with the shot, we're gonna live with it. Like, and again, he only shot 8 shots. And it wasn't like he hasn't made the shot before. Of course, you want him to give the ball up and stuff, but again, it's one possession out of many in a basketball game. And it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? But again, is that he had just hit a three the play before. It was a heat check, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe he knew he was about to come out. I don't know. Like, so decisions are rarely made in a vacuum. I didn't particularly like the shot either. I didn't like the decision, but I'm not about to harp on it too much because one, we know he shoots that shot with some regularity, even though it's not in that specific situation. He's usually doing it with the defense back, and the defense wasn't really back, so he didn't really need to shoot that shot. But I'm not particularly tripping off of it. But outside of that, and the one like foul baity thing he tried to do that he could eliminate from time to time, the rest of his decision making, I had no problems with anything that he was really doing out there, and the whole defensive whatever was largely overblown in my part. His offense is struggling on the road. I think he'll perform better at home. I don't know, because if he's gonna just be in the corner and I get the ball, like there's only so much you can do. That's why I posted that video. There's only so much you can do. Like you can't affect the game positively or negatively just kind of being a spectator. And if you're going to have D'Angelo Russell on the floor just being a spectator for a large majority of his minutes, he doesn't need to be out there. Like if you're just going to play LeBron ball and it's going to be 5-4 shenanigans and Reeves is getting some of the weak side attention, you don't really need D'Lo out there, because even though he's a good communicator on defense and stuff like that, you might want somebody a little more physical out there. And I'm not advocating for him to not play. I don't think this is the way they should be playing. They haven't played this way in the first 2 rounds. They played better when LeBron was picking his spots on offense off the ball and then kind of taking over at certain points when they really needed something to happen for him. But start of game 5 in the Warriors, we've kind of seen this shift in like the philosophies and whether or not it's a stylistic choice or LeBron is feeling better and he wants to kind of take the reins or whatever. I don't know. So if D'Lo, not D'Lo, LeBron always has somebody that's like in these configurations of his team. Somebody is always going to turn into a spectator at certain points. It happened to Kevin Love. It happened to Chris Bosh. Like it's just a thing that kind of happens. like, so D'Lo is looking like the guy that it's happening to right now. Whether or not that'll continue, I don't know. Whether or not they'll feed into this idea that they're better without D'Lo on the floor, which is what I don't personally believe that they just like the circumstances of these two games have kind of trended in that direction just because of decisions that the Lakers made or things that they did while he was on the floor, irrespective of what he's actually doing as a basketball player. So if that's the move, I pray that Dennis is playing sensible basketball or they're going to be in the same predicament that they're in now. Probably even like a little worse if they're going to run LeBron ball with Dennis on the floor because he's not a floor spacer and his secondary decision making is what it is. Like, so they got some things to figure out. I still think they could win this series. That's why this is titled Lakers in 6. They gave away game 2 for sure. And they could have, if they would have started game 1 with a sensible lineup on the floor, like we wouldn't probably be having this discussion right now. So if they can get out of their own way and recoup these 2 games at home and just play with the appropriate level of attention and focus, I still don't see any reason why they can't win this series. Mike Malone's so scared of a D'Lo Cook. He's seen it too many times. This comment so he can just motivating your team, but it's just lame. But I guess that's just who he is. Like, but like if D'Lo was such a non-factor, like, and all this other stuff that like they're kind of like alluding to, they wouldn't be talking about him. You would want to keep that low. Like, this guy stinks. Let's go at this dude. Like, they gonna keep trotting him out there. Let's make sure that we keep him on the court and we gonna, like, you know what I'm saying. But it's obvious that that's not what they know that the offense and everything is much less dynamic if D'Angelo Russell's not involved in it. Like, I don't see how you can argue otherwise. Of course, Reeves is going to do what he does. That's fine. But like, you know, at certain things you live with, you know what I mean? Because Reeves is still not he's not the off the dribble shooter threat consistently, and he's still not as good of a playmaker. So like, do you want? Because if he had more attention, Murray wouldn't be on him. So like they wouldn't like have Murray on the guy like that. So like they know what they're doing. Like, because if you allocate resources to you allocate the defensive resources to Reeves, and then it's LeBron, and then it's AD. If D'Lo is still on the court at that point, then like you got a whole nother thing to deal with. But you know, I don't know. This is just the type of guy Mike Malone is. I don't know if the Ryan Saunders of it all is playing into it, but like, I don't know. Because I think Mike Trudell was talking about like, yeah, Mike Malone kind of wild on him. I thought he was joking, but nah, this dude, he just he playing a nobody believes his card with a 1 seed, and this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, bro, I've seen everybody picking y'all. What are you talking about? Let's see. He feeds off the crowd too. Get an early one to fall at home could juice him up. I think it's just a volume thing more than anything. Like, regardless of like how you're feeling in the moment, because I think he was relatively engaged from jump yesterday. From what I saw, he fouled KCP. He got KCP in foul trouble in like 2 minutes, like which was big for the Lakers. Like, KCP wasn't on the floor, and they were playing at somewhat of an advantage for the duration of the first quarter. He didn't have like a lot of shot attempts, but like he was a little more engaged offensively just because he had the ball a little bit more. Then in the second and fourth quarters, he didn't touch the ball really at all. Like, so it's more so, I don't think he was scuffling. I don't think he's been scuffling. Game 1, he missed some shots. In the second half, he started making some shots. Mike Malone called a timeout. In game 2, he was like 1 for 3 in the first half. He's just not getting opportunities to shoot the ball. He's not being walled off from certain areas of the floor, and he's not shooting the ball. D'Lo has make the right play brain a lot of times, except when he like foul baits and stuff like that. So he's gonna, whatever the game plan is, he's gonna execute the game plan, and he's not really gonna deviate it too much unless it's early transition type stuff or something like that. And the opportunities just aren't materializing like that. Him and Austin were they had something going in that third quarter, and then like it just disappeared. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to fix. I don't know if they're going to pivot to less D'Lo or if they see that more D'Lo is the answer. I don't know what the answer is. Well, I don't. I do know that more D'Lo is the answer, in my opinion. But they may not see it that way, particularly with the sacrifices that you quote unquote have to make on defense. I think he guarded MPJ relatively well in the possessions he was on him. So like, ooh, my computer just went down. Not the one I'm streaming on, but the other one I'm looking at. So I don't know. Let's see. Lakers fans bought into his quote as well, exactly what he wanted. Yeah, bro, I don't like these reports are like, oh, we're afraid we're going to lose him if we bench him and all this other stuff. Like, why? Where are these reports coming from, bro? And why? It's particularly like if you're actually like, if they have a film session, I don't know what they're going to like point at and be like, D'Lo, you didn't do this right here, this right here, this right here, this right. Like I don't know, because like the one example of a play that D'Lo missed a rotation on that everybody kept talking about was the KCP3, which was like not even. I'm not gonna say it wasn't his fault because like if that is his rotation, it's his rotation. But like the circumstances surrounding the play was different. Then I think I didn't see the full play, but it looked like Jokic either got the ball from Gordon or he like dribbled up into a post up on his own. So like it's not the setup to where like you're helping off the post where there's a wing passer, he entry passes the ball, and then he's just kind of there waiting for the shot. And then Dennis is down and he's debating on whether or not to dig. They hard doubled like immediately in the game, which is what I was asking for. I want you to either hard double or play straight up. But this in between, like where he won't, he stuff is not gonna work against Jokic. So Jokic got into a post-up situation. KCP and Bruce Brown were on the weak side of the floor. D'Lo is kind of like in the paint to where he could get out to Bruce Brown. He could kind of put some attention on Jokic if necessary. He can kind of cut off any type of dunker action, but Gordon wasn't over there. And then KCP was kind of next to Bruce Brown. He wasn't on the strong side of the floor. He started floating over, but he was like 5 feet behind the 3-point line. Like so, like Dennis was like at the free throw line. So like the distance between Dennis and KCP, I'm using my hand. The distance between Dennis and KCP was way too far for any type of backside rotation that wasn't going to result in a swing action if Jokic were to make the pass to KCP where Dennis was. By the time Dennis had actually committed to the double, KCP has moved over a little further, but you can't have D'Lo leave prematurely because Bruce Brown is still over there on the wing. And if D'Lo leaves, that pass is going to Bruce Brown, the pass is going to the corner. Maybe that's what you're trying to force, because I can't remember if Christian Brown was in the corner or who it was. But like you don't want to give up open corner threes too often if you don't want to. But that's what the circumstances of that play were. D'Lo was in the kind of playing in the middle between two people, and then KCP kind of drifted away, but he couldn't fully leave his man. By the time Dennis actually went, D'Lo had to recover like 25 feet. Like it wasn't that far, and he's slow, but like that rotation wasn't played well because it was a bad alignment, and it wasn't like the way you should have played it, the way they were like spaced. But you know, so if that's what they think, and then that's the kind of mistake that they deem to be something that you should bench him for, whatever. But like the talk is not matching what I'm seeing on the court. What it rarely does when we're talking about D'Angelo Russell. He's easily scapegoatable because he's very slow, and he's not really rah about too much. He's not like quote unquote aggressive in certain respects. So like you can point to a thing like, oh, it's this guy, this is the guy they're picking on, this is the guy that's getting cooked, even though it's not matching. The film test is not matching up with what everybody's saying, which is why I posted that video. But you know, let's see. 12 out of 18 media people. Excuses, Nuggets are just better. Are they better? They might be. They were number one seed for a reason. I don't believe it, but I can't go out there and prove it on the court. You know what I'm saying? The Lakers got to prove it. So I'm saying I'm not an agitatable guy. So like these kind of short, curt responses that are built for like, oh, that doesn't like, you're not gonna get a rise out of me in any way. But I disagree. So you could take that for what you want to take it for. 12 out of 18 people picked the Nuggets. That's why is Malone so great? I don't know. Like I don't see how it will work like motivating his team either. I don't think why would they believe that? Why are you believing that you're the underdog in this situation? Like I ain't seeing anybody like oh the big bad Lakers. People didn't think the Lakers was even gonna make it this far. So like I'm not seeing the whole David and Goliath thing he's trying to cook up. But you know what I'm saying? Coaches got to do what they got to do at this time of the season. I just don't like the naming of specific players and like doing that kind of cornball stuff like that. I don't rock with that. Like you can do all the other stuff. That's fine. Cause like I understand the tactics of it, but like that's another thing. Like he named D'Lo specifically, and then they just was like, all right, go stand in the corner again. Like you should at least let him at least try to cook just off GP. You know what I'm saying? Like you gonna let them talk about you like that, bro? You got Bruce Brown out here, like you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. They was trying to win via matchup hunting, so it didn't materialize like that. But you at least got to give the brother 10 shots. Like come on. Uh, Rui got the tongue out cooking though. Yeah, they don't have anybody on the Nuggets that can guard Rui. Like, I think that's pretty obvious at this point. Like, so like more Rui, more Cook. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully his jumper remains where it is. Like he started off hot, then the spot up threes kind of fell off for a little bit. But like if he's back, he's attacking closeouts appropriately and getting where he needs to go. They don't have anybody for him, bro. Like, so I don't know if I don't know when he needs. I don't know if he needs more usage in the non-LeBron minutes or like where that's going to come from. But they got to explore that until the Nuggets show that it's not going to work. And I'm not sure they have too many answers for that. Uh, if it's Brown or Brown, I'm okay with giving that up to corner three. Yeah, they've done it a couple times. Like Aaron Gordon was set like a hamstring for like one of them for whatever reason. I don't know why you would do that. Of course, it's the office, but like you got Gordon and bad shooter number 17 back there, and like the shots that they were making at home are they gonna make them on the road? Like this is still many considerations. The only thing that's like going against the Lakers is they got to win 4 games out of 5. You know what I'm saying? Which is not an impossible feat. It's more unlikely than winning 3 out of the next 5, but like. I'm still not tripping too crazy. You know what I'm saying? Now, you catch me at halftime of game 3 and it's looking shaky, then I might be sweating a little bit. But even if they go down 3-0, still Lakers in 7 until they win the series. They gotta win this series for me to be like, all right, yeah, they definitely the better team. Like, that's just how I'm gonna feel about it. Now we can argue whether or not the continuity is what it is, and this will all be something that we don't have to worry about going forward. But like. They got to figure something out. Well, they gotta lock in and execute better first of all before like we hit the panic button on the figuring things out part of it. But they gotta be better. Dennis's defense has not been that good to warrant those late minutes over D'Lo. Whole team was jacking up threes. All the guys, most suits that is on the bench. Uh, like, Dennis and Austin were getting lightly fried in game 1. Like, but. It's an activity or achievement conversation whether like the appearance of making things a little more difficult, like going over screens or like they're like Austin was getting cooked by MPJ a little bit, but his hands were up and he made the shots difficult. Like yeah, of course that has value, but like the actual numbers of it all, like you know what I'm saying. Dennis, I think he had a good first half, so you know what I'm saying. That is what it is. But the second half, like, he's just so detrimental on offense currently. And he's not always like that. If he's just Dennis that gets to the rim not sporadically, with regularity, and he's making his layups, I still don't understand how he makes that layup that he takes at that one angle, like, that's like right next to the basket, and he kind of like finger rolls it up. Like, that's a fire shot. He tried that yesterday. I think it got blocked or he hit the bottom of the rim. Like, he's just not locked in right now offensively. And, again, I don't think it's anything that the Nuggets are doing in particular. I just think that he's not playing well on that end of the floor. He's not, I don't know if it's the arena. Like, I don't know what exactly has him discombobulated in the decision-making streets, but he's not adequately playing. And so, like, you're making the same trade-off that you're making with Vando in certain respects. He's not gonna like have the over pursuit mistakes as much as Vando, and like, but he still does the thing where he falls down on screens and he's kind of trying to get the refs to make a certain call, you know. So like there's still too much volatility on the other end of the floor to like justify like, okay, this is what we have to do. We have to put him in for defensive purposes. Like, just don't put Rui on Murray, bro. Like, see what Austin has on Murray. Like, try it. Is what I would, or put Troy Brown in the game, or like try something. Like, cause the other end of the floor, he's being a little too harmful right now. But who's to say that game three at home that will just reverse itself? Because I've often said Dennis is either the worst player of all time or he's the best player of all time. He's had two worst player of all time offensive performances. Maybe that reverses itself in game three and then we cooking. I don't know. Let's see. I think that's the last question. It's been 34 of them minutes. We'll say, I don't know what's gonna happen in terms of lineups adjustments. Maybe they give Brown a shot because like um they shouldn't be running out of people to guard people at this point in the series because like the Nuggets they got guys but they ain't got guys like that. Like they got one guy and then they got another guy. And then sometimes that other guy comes and then after that it's like you should be able to guard them. And I thought they played really like good defense for until the Murray explosion. Like I thought that I thought LeBron was very active. He was maybe just all that clamping he was doing is why he like just lost his foot as he was going up dunk that ball and lay up that ball. I don't know. But they gotta I don't think they gotta figure out things tactically, but just from like a focus and execution standpoint on their end, irrespective of what I keep wanting to say, irregardless. I don't even know if irrespective is the word I'm looking for, but regardless of what, because irregardless ain't you know what I'm saying. But lexicon rules are you know what I'm saying. We ain't gonna get into the grammar of it all, you know what I'm saying, because I am a black man, so we there's different rules for everybody the way they speak language, but they need to execute better. LeBron and AD have to be better. If LeBron and AD are better, then like I'm still not concerned about what's going on. They better fix this rebounding issue and giving up too many second chance opportunities. They this part of like the transition and the rebounding are just part of their DNA in certain respects. Of course, they could be more attentive. But they just do certain things like going early at the end of quarters. They do that a lot for whatever reason. Like I know it's not a specific issue to like a D'Lo because I've seen him hold the ball appropriately. Dennis did it yesterday. I think LeBron kind of. I don't know if they do something analytically like LeBron did it. Like I don't know why they're going so early and like giving opportunity. That's what led to the if I remember correctly, that's what led to the goaltending at the end of the third quarter, which I didn't think was goaltending necessarily. They're like, oh, the ball was coming down it, but it was more of a pass interference thing to me because that ball didn't look like it was going in to me. It looked like it was sailing over the rim, but I might be wrong about that. But I don't know. But it is what it is. Let's see. The way to sort out transition. Yeah, I talked about that earlier. They were attacking the glass from the corner. Vandal was a known over pursuer for all of his greatness as I'm saying, an agitator guy. Like when he's not, when it doesn't lead to positive results sometimes, Vandal's on the ground and like the other team has an advantage 4-on-5. Like I think it happened in what was that, game 5 or game 6 against the Warriors? I don't know. He went for like some kind of press up in the front court and he like fell down and like he just does that. So like when he gets dislodged, he going to the floor. But they were over pursuing rebounds way too much. And like outside of that, like they were solid. But like again, like their transition principles are often like they often leave a lot to be desired. They gave up like a layup to Murray. I don't remember if it was D'Lo or whoever it was that just did somebody shot a three and Murray was just chilling on the other side of the court, like, and he wasn't like cherry picking. Like somebody messed up the back responsibility, but I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. I think D'Lo was the furthest person away, but he was like, I don't know, but. Like this has just been something that's been going on all year, and they've been getting, like I said, that's where they've lost these two games. They've lost these games in transition. When it gets in the half court, like, despite what Jokic did in the first game, like, that was what it was. But they're losing these games on the margins in transition, badly. Like, whether or not the numbers ultimately like reflected in the end, like, you can't be recovering like that in transition and expect to be like, oh yeah, we straight. Like, no, bro, you gotta get together. Like all of those buckets like on that run I posted on here was like early transition type stuff, or like when the defense was not set. That's the main part of it. Like we're not setting our defense appropriately in those situations. And the Nuggets are just pitching and catching and curling and like quick shots and all this other stuff, and they're having success. And maybe that's different on the road. Maybe these shots are not as good on the road, and they're feeling a little more pressure. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but like right now, it's bad, cousin. But like I said, I'm still not of the opinion that the Nuggets are just like proving themselves to be like a better basketball team. I just think that the Lakers aren't, the areas that the Lakers haven't been sharp in are things that have been there, but like are things that are still ultimately correctable. And then on the half court of it all, I think that the Lakers still have several advantages that they're not particularly attacking as often as they should. And then the advantage that they have with their superstars, they haven't capitalized on them as well as they should have in game 2. Game 1 was fine. And like the periphery of it all, like the lineups were the problem in game 1. Game 2, they just kind of out executed themselves a little bit. So if they could clean those things up, if LeBron actually starts making the threes that he's taking, because like I said, those threes were like persona non grata for the majority of people, but like they weren't bad threes from like a shot making perspective. They were, a couple of them rimmed out, and like sometimes you just got to let a star do what he does. But I don't foresee whatchamacallit, AD or LeBron having that variety of terrible. Now, whether or not the numbers are what they are, it's whatever. But like AD was terrible in a way that I don't think we've seen him be on the offensive end, regardless of like him, like every other game, his scoring was yo-yoing, whatever. But like he just looked like worse than I've seen offensively last night. And then LeBron just had like 4 or 5 just unforgivable, not unexplainable like mistakes that you wouldn't expect from like a superstar of 20 years. Like, so let's see. The only thing that has me concerned really is Denver has their best 2 players basically in their physical primes, not LA. LA's guys dealing with injuries. Yeah. That, and like I'm worried about an eventual game where like we have a foul trouble situation, because we've been relatively lucky, and Denver has as well, where like AD hasn't not fouled out, but he hasn't been in foul trouble. Neither one of them have really been in foul trouble. But in terms of like Murray and being prime Murray, like he still got the hot and cold in him. So like we saw both of them last night, for better and for worse. We just didn't capitalize when we needed to, like, and that was on us. Like that end of second quarter stretch, like 7 minutes where we didn't score for like 7 minutes, was like you can't have that happen. Particularly with those, like you said, 2 guys in their prime that's able to, like, you know what I'm saying? We just let them hang around entirely too long, and we saw what happened. But like, if it's from like a wear down standpoint, I could see it. But like going toe to toe right now, I still think we have the clear advantage in that matchup if we just play sensibly, like, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully we can get it over a 7-game series. Maybe the altitude had our boys looking a little worse for wear at the end of it. Who knows? This every other day schedule might be cooking them at this point. LeBron's foot, who knows? But like, we just gotta. That's what your superstars for, bro. You gotta kind of will yourself through that, or if not, enlist other people to help you. You know what I'm saying? So that if that's more D'Lo, if it's more Austin usage, whatever it is, like particularly with LeBron's ankle now, like I don't think it's gonna be a problem, because he tied that shoe up. Once he tied that shoe up, you know what I'm saying? I think he got secret HGH protocols in the shoe. He just hit that knot, and then he just, you know what I'm saying, just go just right in the ankle. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe that's why he don't got high tops no more, because he used to get stuck in the ankle, but now it goes directly into the foot. I don't know, but yeah, they got some things to figure out. I just saw some questions. Let me see. Otherwise, I don't think it would be so much margins. Yeah. Not enough beet juice in Denver. Yeah, man, beet juice is where it's at. I'll get to the area, man, in a minute. But like, let me get off on my beet juice diatribe for a minute. I've never had. I don't know what steroids feel like. I don't know what HGH feels like. But whatever it is, I'm assuming it approximates whatever is going on when I drink beet juice. I have never had such a boost of like energy that was like sustainable. So like I think my back is cooked for this very reason too. But like I used to jump rope all the time. And like at a certain point, you just getting tired, bro. Like either your legs are hurting or your chest is like your breathing is what it is, what it is. But like on that beet juice, my legs, I'm not feeling them. Like not in a bad way, but like they don't hurt really. I can feel my oxygen is in my blood and we are pumping. You know what I'm saying? My breathing, great. I'm not tired. Like I can breathe rhythmically and like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not shallowly breathing because I'm tired. Like it was helping me cook. I can't drink it no more because it's bad for my stomach because I have IBS and it's a red color the computer. But beet juice, if you ever need like legal PEDs, bro, get you some beet juice and it lowers your blood pressure, all that good stuff. But it's just highly recommended. Was just thinking once I saw the Draymond Pod episode where he suggested AD to take more threes, I knew AD was going to jack him up. I didn't see that part. Yeah, it improves VO2 output, and I felt every second of it. As soon as I drink it, you can just feel it in your bloodstream. Like that sounds very like drug addict-ish, but like I felt a noticeable difference. Like if I would have like a headache or something, like my blood flow just felt like it improved. Like for lack of a better word to explain it, I don't know how to explain it specifically. It doesn't give you like the feeling that like energy drinks and stuff like that. I can't drink those. They're bad for my heart. Like I had a sip of a Red Bull one time. I was down bad. I took some pre-workout one time. I was itching. I'm like, this is not the life for me. But that beet juice, it gives you kind of that same like sensation, but it's not like distracting and it doesn't go to your chest and you're beating off fast. But let me get back to what you were saying, Ed, man. I don't remember. I only saw the one clip of Draymond's podcast where he just talked about, he was like bigging up Dennis at one point. I don't know if that was before game one or what, but I also saw the thing where he suggested that they start Vandal for a few reasons that, like helping off of Gordon and stuff like that. If he's listening to it, I don't know. His three looked okay. The corner ones, even though I just didn't like the time of the game they were taking. But the corner threes, I didn't have a problem with that. Above the break three, I was not a fan of, particularly because LeBron had an advantage in early transition, like semi-transition, like. And I think Jamal Murray was the guy who was in front of him, like stopping ball. Like you have to see what you can get. Like you got to make him foul you or something. Like you can't, if you drive and you have to turn it back out, it's still plenty of time on the shot clock to get whatever shot you deem appropriate. But just swinging it back to AD for that three, I was not digging that like at all. Game 2 time. Stay blessed. Appreciate it, brother. And your name is gender neutral, so you know what I'm saying, and or sister non-binary, whatever you are. Appreciate you for showing up, asking questions. For me, it's the Tudka supplement. Is that one of those things that BJ was pushing? I can't remember where has BJ been actually. You know what I'm saying? We talk about that in the chat. But wherever BJ is, and shout out to you, my dog. You know what I'm saying? Hope you having a great Australian time. You probably not, because you know what I'm saying, the Lakers getting cooked, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you. But I don't know what that is. You know what I'm saying? If you can enlighten me, I'm probably not going to take no supplements though, because I'm past the point of like being able to try new things without it like adversely affecting me. And even if it doesn't, like my body is so like reactive to things, I'll attribute whatever happened to me to that. Like I remember when my back was at its like worst, but I didn't know about it. Yeah, that NAD, that's what he used to push. But like when my back was like cooked and it would like affect my neck and like my balance and all this other stuff, and my stomach would be hurting and all this other stuff. I had started taking or kefir, is that what it's called? What is that? My tongue? I think I had hair in my mouth. But I started ingesting the kefir, you know what I'm saying? The yogurt, the super yogurt or whatever it is. And like, I thought that it was causing these issues that were ultimately attributable to my back. So I was like, I can't have that anymore. So like anything new that I take, I got to take it under the conditions of my body feeling at least like 50%, because I'm rarely at 50%. So you know what I'm saying? If I look that up and it's something, he busy with fantasy football. What, the rugby variety? What they call it over there? What did they call it? Because I know they don't call it rugby. Kefir. Yeah, I took some of that. You know what I'm saying? I was on that. This was like mid 2020. You know what I'm saying? This was before I found this miracle juice right here. Let me do my ad read again. One second. uh, where's my mic? Ah. Can you hear me? Let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna unmute this. It's probably not gonna sound as good. I'm probably gonna have to do some things to the filters real quick. But let me see. Oh, another $10 donation. If you can hear this, if you can hear this, I really appreciate it. Hold on. Let me make sure. So that's still good. Let me see. So y'all can hear me? Give me a 10 for in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, yeah, so it's echoing. So because I got two of them going at the same time. What if I do that? Is it still echoing? Oh, I accidentally paused the chat. I would be able to hear this for myself. I didn't realize. Let me just make sure I get everything where it needs to be. How did I get this far back? Let me do my ad read again. Let's see. Ah! That sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. Let me see. I didn't fix the properties on here. Let me see something real quick. Filters. Oh, it's already on here. Wait a minute. Is it? Hold on. Let me see. It's two things. If I just do this, is it still? Let's see. We're still echoing. We're gonna have to end the stream early, even though we was winding down anyway. But like this is a wild way to go out. But now that you can actually hear me, Lily of the Desert, your stomach hurting. You know what I'm saying? You got a little bit of IBS. You got a little bit of I don't know if you ate too many spicy tacos. You know what I'm saying? Get that up on you. Are we good now? Sound like a dream sequence. I respect that. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here. I'm accidentally pre-production. You know what I'm saying? But we good for sure. So I don't know what happened. The thing I went to check to see if I unplugged the mic was the wrong audio channel. So like I did something I didn't need to do. So I just muted that channel. I'll have to delete it in a minute. But if we good, then we good. But yeah, Lily of the Valley, if your stomach bad, you know what I'm saying, get some of that. Let me go back to the donation. Appreciate it once again. what does it matter, bro? What does it matter? You know what I'm saying? What does it matter? But LeBron sold the whole game by himself in the fourth. I'm flabbergasted. Yeah, bro. I don't know what was going on. They say he got a documentary crew following him around. Maybe he trying to show off for the cameras. Maybe he was like, yeah, I need to get this gritty game 2 win. We behind the 8 ball. I'm about to show these youngins how it's done. And he went to do that reverse when we were up, what, 9 or 7? I don't know. That's a huge swing play in terms of like getting people behind by double digits or close to, you know what I'm saying, and giving something up on the other end. Like that we started kind of imploding a little bit right after that. So like all these things in a vacuum would have been fine, but he just compounded them in a way that I've never seen him do before. Uh, like probably ever. Like, of course, like he had games where he was ineffectual doing other things, but like these were a lot of just self-inflicted wounds that like I don't expect from somebody of his caliber at this point in his career. But like a couple of those things were like the dunk wasn't him being old, but like some of those layups he missed, he didn't have quite the same burst. Again, he could have been getting fouled on some of these things, but like you got to play through those things ultimately, and if they're not working, you got to find another way to kind of get the same results. And he kind of wasn't doing that. He was still getting to the rim when he wanted to, but like he was missing the layups when he was getting there. Like it was just, you know, some things just they snowballed on themselves, and we are where we are now. But if he can become not become, but if he could just be the guy who we know he is, or at least like 80% of that guy in these next 2 games, like I'm still saying we go back tied 2-2 if that happens. He fell in love with that cradle reverse. He has like specific like things. I don't know. Like it often seems like he's like, all right, I'm about to work on this. I'm about to do this real quick, and we're gonna see what's going on. Like, um, but he wasn't getting all the way to the. I don't know. Did the second one get blocked? I can't remember. I don't think it did. But like, it wasn't getting to where he thought it was gonna go. Like, um, that was another thing. Like he finished in a way that like I didn't expect, like from a spin standpoint. Like he wasn't getting to it like he usually does. But again, they said his foot was cooked, so maybe it was. I don't know, but. He often, whether or not it's what the defense provides him, maybe he thought the step back threes were the best option, or they were giving him baseline in certain respects, so he would try that layup, it wasn't hitting the way it was. I don't know like what the thought process was, but even with all that said, if we just get like 3 more buckets from AD over the course of the game before the Jamal Murray like explosion, I still think we're in good shape. Like, but he was missing shots at a level just like, but even missing shots, like the thing that I wasn't too keen on was the way he was like kind of getting bullied, like when he would post and he would like try to turn middle, and either I don't know if he was trying to draw contact or he was trying to get high hand so he could throw a pass over the top or what he was doing, but he was just losing the ball. Like missing shots is one thing. The ball just don't go in sometimes, but when you're not sound with the ball at the level of the floor that you need to be, like I think I talked about this with D'Lo when I said like he has bad games. You can tell like when he's not locked in, and Dennis is doing this a lot as well. Like it's a lot of timing and like execution mistakes from like just a biomechanical like aspect of it, where the dribble is sloppy. Like it doesn't result in a turnover, but like he's dribbling and the dribble gets out in front of him. He has to recover. It throws off the timing of whatever they're doing, throwing off target passes. And AD was kind of in that kind of bad last night, where it was just like he wasn't sharp. You know what I mean? Like if you struggle while you're still executing the game plan, whatever. But like you can't be the level of like, I don't know what the opposite of crisp is, but you can't be what he was on the road and expect to win. You might can get away with that in crypto. You know what I'm saying? If other guys step up on the peripheries, but like you can't waste 2 Austin games like this. You can't do that, like, because despite what Austin has done in the last 2 games, it was just what like 10 days ago we were wondering if the rigors of the playoffs had gotten to him because he was gone for like 3 of the first games in the Golden State series. Like you can't rely on this. You can't rely on Rui to just keep being this guy, even though I think he has a clear mismatch against this team. Like you just can't throw away games like this. And then they threw away a game where the Nuggets weren't particularly locked in either. Like these are opportunities that you need to take advantage of. They just didn't do that for a multitude of reasons, but like chief among them just was a team wide decision making process in game one, and then game two their superstars just didn't bring it home. So like you know, but I think we at 60 minutes. I'm a I'm a see like what these audio issues are and stuff like that. Hopefully, I have them figured out. Uh, Hopefully, we're back after game three with the homies, talking about some victorious things as opposed to whatever the end of that game was. Uh, Once again, I appreciate y'all for showing up, chopping it up with me for a little bit. What does it even matter, bro? What's it even matter, bro? I gotta get your name right. Let's see. What does it even matter, bro? I really appreciate it. I know he can't defend, but it kills me that Thomas Brown would be helpful for 5 to 8 minutes. Yeah, man. I think I tweeted about it before game one. I'm like, Thomas Bryant is chilling. Like, either way this series go, he got a 50% chance at getting a ring. You know what I'm saying? um, but he would be helpful in those minutes where like because if nothing else like he gonna get a bucket like and they don't have the front line to like really stop him from like getting that bucket if he want that bucket, you know what I'm saying? So like I think that he will provide some cover for whatever like Dennis in particular because like if nothing else Dennis can make a pocket pass at the very like, and he's a pop option, even though I don't really believe in him as a shooter like that much. But like maybe that's what AD like they're exploring the whole pop option of it all. We still don't know where Bama's gonna fit into all this if he's even gonna play. I personally don't think he's gonna have too much of a say in this series. Just from one, I don't think he's that good. Particularly with somebody that is locked in as Jokic. But two, he just hasn't played basketball in a long time. So, you know what I'm saying? But maybe they think AD threes are a new wrinkle that they can add to the offense. And if he gets some respectable closeouts, then they think he can attack from the 3 point line and kind of cause havoc against their front line that way. I don't know. But yeah, Thomas Bryant, sad you had to go, brother. I don't know. The minutes might have been there a little bit more, but you know what I'm saying? The game is the game. I don't particularly like the way Mike Malone handled like the questions about him. Like, but we can be talking about things I don't like about. I keep calling him Mike Malone. It's not intentional, but now it's intentional because he being wild disrespectful. So we being disrespectful back. That brother name is Mike. But other than that, I'm about to get up out of here so I can actually figure out what's going on with the stream stuff, and I got to eat something because I haven't eaten anything yet. You know what I'm saying? My back has got my sleep schedule a little, you know. But other than that, I see y'all when I see y'all. I see you in the chat in a minute. Well, not in a minute, but pretty soon I'm gonna look into what's his face? I don't Jersic. I don't know. Pojemski. I think he a hooper. I don't know if he you know what I'm saying? I think he has secondary creations, but I gotta see more from that off the dribble jumper. And directionally because like a couple of those curls going to his strong hand side was looking crazy. But